I had a lot of teaching experience from the Ohio State University, where I worked for about 3 years. I had a chance to train new techs. I had a chance to actually train students in like a fellowship setting, and I even had a chance to train students that were going to school at the university. Hi, my name is Fred Schindler. I'm the MRI Program Director for Sacramento Ultrasound Institute. Okay, so back in, oh boy, it's been a while. So it's been about 25 years. So I started out in radiology, doing x-ray, and we did a rotation through the MRI and CT department. I loved MRI and CT imaging. I loved seeing inside the body, like cutting a person up into slices without causing them any pain or suffering. And so I really enjoyed that part of the radiology field. So I got into it when I graduated. My very first job was doing x-ray, and then they cross-trained me into CT, which is what I loved. After that, I started talking to, because I was working at a hospital at the time out in Wadsworth, Ohio. I started working with Technologist, and then I happened to float over to one day because we had a shared patient, and I floated over with them. That patient walked them over to the MRI suite, or kind of rolled them over, and I started watching the images being produced by MRI and got back into MRI and then talked to them about going to school. Back in about 2003, I got into the MRI field and never wanted to leave it. I was going to school, and I looked into medical programs. I always had an interest in helping people in a patient care setting. I liked the medical field. I figured it was a pretty stable job overall. You can probably go anywhere with it, and you can always count on it. And I have been able to do that. And so I just kind of took a level approach. It was not an emotional approach for me. It was just more of a level approach of how can I support myself, my family for the future. So how I teach is simply this way. I first kind of give you an overview of what to expect in each course. I talk about the course in the very first day. I cover all the material in the syllabus. Then I kind of give you an ad lib of what is reality. I tell you the ups and the downs of the medical field the very first day, because there should be no surprise, even in the anatomy class you're taking. So after I cover that, I do the second approach. I lecture from the PowerPoints. I give you the information, I present it to you, but I also give you the critical thinking as we move through it. And then I finally, in order to help your learning, give you some suggestions on your best course of study. Well, each aspect of the MRI field has its ups and its downs. I like all of these different processes. I love a new challenge. So I had been teaching, prior to this I worked for several different companies in Ohio, but I had a lot of teaching experience from the Ohio State University, where I worked for about 3 years. I had a chance to train new techs. I had a chance to actually train students in like a fellowship setting, and I even had a chance to train students that were going to school at the university. Well, I also had some time to lecture on safety while I was there. And I had always been involved in education in some way. So I really enjoyed that. And even in fact, going back to my old x-ray days, when I was going through school there, I was training techs on how to use the equipment because I think I was just standing in the right place at the right time. So I'd been doing that for quite a while. What do I love about it? Well, I like enlightening people. I think the more people who know how to do things properly, the better things get. I have never been defensive about teaching. I've always felt like the more you can tell someone, the more they understand about the world, how much better our world gets. When we keep people in darkness, I think, or we fear that something may cost us a job, I never worry about things like that. So for me, teaching gives a reward of you get to be someone who shares all this knowledge with someone else who can now carry on the torch, so to speak,